Farmweek is a production of the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Today on Farmweek, we have a special flashback edition of our show. We go back in the Farmweek archives for two of our stories today. From 2006, you'll see how Evelyn Roden and her family have turned an antique business into a well-known restaurant and a specialty food manufacturer.
In southern gardening, the sun passion, this colorful plant can take the heat of the South summers, and it's a Mississippi Medallion Award winner.
Our first story today is from 2004. It's about a vocational teacher who began to see art in old farm equipment parts.
I teach agricultural power and machinery, which deals with a little bit of welding, tractor operation and maintenance. And I try to convey to my students that you can take farm equipment, old farm equipment that's been discarded, and make something valuable out of it. And I didn't consider it art. It was just something I called myself doing. At this point, I would lay the man on the table, and then I would weld it together, cover. When I'm set up with my exhibits, and it just amazed me how people come up and say, wow, this is very unique. How did you come up with this, you know? And I feel good that people love what I do, you know, just something that I do. You know, I don't consider myself an artist. Everybody say that I am, but it's just something that I love to do, and I do it.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leighton Spann.
And I'm Artis Ford. Welcome to Farm Week.
Today we dip back into Farm Week's past for what we call a flashback edition of our show.
Leighton, our first story aired on Farm Week 6 years ago. It's about the Roten family of Indianola, Mississippi. I suppose you started an antique business and you put a restaurant inside of it to attract customers in. Well, eventually you got rid of the antiques, however, because it was the food that people raved about the most. The Rotens still have the restaurant, and they're taking their food to the world one bite at a time.
I love to cook. It is a passion with me, and we never go anywhere that we don't get some little tweaky idea of, oh, why don't we do that with catfish in the restaurant? Or why don't we take that idea and add some this to it and make a sauce that we can sell through Taste of Gourmet.
You're around Evelyn Roten for, say, 2 or 3 seconds at the most before you find out about her two passions, family and food. The Roten family is well known for their Indianola restaurant called The Crown. There's also their famous smoked catfish pate. More than 1,000 people around the country are selling their food products through their Taste of Gourmet direct sales company. All of these enterprises work together to create an effect that is greater than the sum of the parts.
We are so fortunate that the business we've been able to make a living doing is something we all absolutely adore. The food part of it is a joy to all of us. Working with the consultants is a joy for Jennifer. Tony is just right there backing us up, doing whatever needs to be done in the office and keeping things going. But we look forward to going to work in the morning.
Starting in 1972, this building, 5 miles north of Indianola, Mississippi, held the Rotens' English antique import business called the Antique Mall. 4 years later, they started the Crown Tea Room inside the building to attract people out to buy antiques. It was the time when the Mississippi farm-raised catfish industry was growing rapidly in the area. The Rotens began to feature catfish dishes at the Crown, developing many recipes for this versatile fish. It was their smoked catfish pate, however, that put them in the national spotlight.
A catfish farmer's daughter was getting married, and they wanted everything to be catfish. So that's how we created our catfish pate. We used a friend's smoked salmon recipe from England, did a lot of tweaking to it.
In 1990, the catfish pate won the Outstanding Hors d'oeuvre Award at the International Fancy Food Show in New York. It was a validation of the Rhoton's talents and commitment to producing high-quality food. By the time the Crown Restaurant moved into downtown Indianola in the late 1990s, it had a nationwide reputation for its catfish dishes and desserts. The antique business was dropped, and the Rhotons began selling the catfish pate and several pie mixes wholesale to stores. The wholesale food business is super competitive, though, with the Rhotons competing against much larger companies.
We started going to wholesale shows, selling to stores. We've sold to Dean and DeLuca, Javalia Coffee, all kinds of wonderful stores. And then we realized that what we wanted to do was sell directly to the consumer and put a taste in their mouth of our pate or our Mississippi Delta fudge pie. Then they knew how good it was.
The Rhotons launched their Taste of Gourmet direct sales company in 1996. The sales are made through what are called consultants. For $75, a person can become a Taste of Gourmet consultant. It includes training materials and products for the consultant to hold a tasting where the customers try and hopefully buy Taste of Gourmet items. There are about 1,000 Taste of Gourmet consultants selling the 58 items presently available. They range from the popular sweet potato muffin mix to the cinnamon-flavored sinful fruit dip mix.
We were doing just the smoked catfish pate and a line of about 8 pie mixes. After we created Taste of Gourmet, we started going into salad dressings and dip mixes and sauces that I had always wanted to do.
All of Taste of Gourmet's products are made at the Indianola plant. It allows them to exercise quality control. It also means when the inventory runs low, the Rhotons and their customers don't have to wait for another company to gear up its production line.
Because we do produce the products right here, if we run out of our gumbo, then our production line switches directly over to gumbo. I don't have to wait for products to come in. I never have to back order my customers because within a day I can have as many of whatever I need made.
Taste of Gourmet and the Crown remain Rhoton family businesses. There are 18 employees. Daughter Jennifer Rhoton Schomburg is the CEO. Father Tony Rhoton runs the figures and lends support wherever it's needed. Even granddaughter Sage is involved. Evelyn comes up with the recipes.
I do all of the creative work itself. My daughter Jennifer has some great ideas, and she'll say, well, why don't we do this? And then she turns it over to me and goes back to her work, and I end up in the kitchen trying to create that thing then.
The Rhoton's Crown Restaurant plays a critical role in product development. The Crown's patrons are not surprised when Evelyn Rhoton asks their opinions of a new recipe. If it can pass the Crown Restaurant test, it's a long way towards becoming a Taste of Gourmet product.
The Crown is one of our testing grounds. We are forever taking something up there and saying, okay, now be real critical. Tell me, does it have enough dill? Does it have too much mayonnaise? And we do that over and over. The people who work here in the plant are really good to tell me the truth too. And up in the restaurant, they will definitely tell me the truth.
The restaurant also has a gift shop featuring Taste of Gourmet products, as well as unique books and art created by Mississippians.
We do love the fact that they are able to shop for all kinds of unique things, and a lot of these are Mississippi. We've got Mississippi artists, we've got Ethel Wright Mohammed's things here, we've got potters from Mississippi. We're very fortunate that we have such a talented group of very local Delta artists who are willing to share their things and sell them through us.
Evelyn Rhoton says Mississippi State University has been a great supporter and source of help in product development. MSU has helped identify ingredient suppliers and has helped keep the Rhotons in compliance with food regulations. Anna Hood has worked with the Rhotons since 1992.
Through my work with the Extension Service, I have worked with Evelyn in helping to provide her with suppliers for her raw ingredients going into her products, help with her labeling issues, as well as the nutritional labeling of her products.
While many of Taste of Gourmet's products have Southern origins, Evelyn Rhoton says she's developing recipes which are familiar to customers in other parts of the United States. The Internet and Taste of Gourmet's website are an important part of its dealings with retail customers and its consultants.
The web is an enormous draw for our consultants to come to us. We've had people from Oregon, from Guam. We have some military wives in Guam who came to us simply because they were looking for something, a product they could sell, saw us on the web, and we're able to ship to Guam through the post office.
Taste of Gourmet products are available only through its sales consultants and the website.
All of the Taste of Gourmet products that we have created just for this will be sold only by our consultants, not through stores. It's just important to us to back up our consultants by not selling it through the stores.
Evelyn Roten remains excited about Taste of Gourmet, and she has no plans to quit.
Tony and I could retire, but I don't see us retiring from something you love this much. And besides, if I'm an old lady of 92 and I have an idea, I can still go in the kitchen and come up with something. So I intend for this to be a long-range business for us. We've got a lot of growing to do, and we are looking forward to it.
And you can watch this story on the Taste of Gourmet and the Crown Restaurant again on our Farmweek website, our Facebook page, or YouTube. We'll also have links to the websites for the Taste of Gourmet and the Crown Restaurant. Our website, farmweek.msucares.com. You can also, as I said, find us on Facebook and click on that like button if you feel so inclined. Now, Leighton, this originally aired 6 years ago. Now, it was back before high-definition television was in vogue. But I did talk with Evelyn Roten back in early June. She and her husband Tony and daughter Jennifer are doing well, and they have not retired. Jennifer is now the manager of the Crown Restaurant, which is in downtown Indianola. And of course, it's appeared on many well-known food shows and magazines like Southern Living and such as that. It's known for its recipes. As I said, it's located in downtown Indianola, and the B.B. King Museum is located just a few blocks east of the Crown Restaurant down there. Taste of Gourmet has changed slightly. It's now limiting its shipping to the continental United States and Canada. You can still be a consultant, though, and make money for yourself selling Taste of Gourmet products. You can also order for yourself. And Evelyn has a blog now where she shares some of her great recipes, and she really is a whiz at coming up with new things. She says that her best-selling Taste of Gourmet product now is peach pecan preserves. Well, naturally, there are peaches and pecans in this.
Right.
But she says it also has peppers, and it's sort of like a pepper jelly. You can use it over cream cheese, or you can glaze meats with it, or such as that. But she did tell us, and Farmweek will pat itself on the back here, that a couple came from Nebraska that saw this original story back then, and it interested them enough that they set themselves a note, and when they traveled through Mississippi from Nebraska, they stopped by and ate at the Crown and said that they had seen it on Farmweek. So it was great. It was great to talk to her. She sounds just the same as when we were there before.
Thanks, Artis. Well, it's time now for our trivia quiz today on Farm Week, and this one is about wheat production in Mississippi. The question, how much did farmers plant last fall? Is the answer 250,000 acres, 326,000 acres, 400,000 acres, or 480,000 acres? We'll have the answer after today's Southern Gardening segment.
Now, do you think your choices for summer color are limited once the temperatures heat up? In this week's Southern Gardening segment, Extension horticulturist Dr. Gary Bachman will show us how to make a color splash in the landscape with the Mississippi Medallion winner, Sun Patiens.
When the summer temperatures are sweltering, gardeners still have the option for bright landscape color. Today I'm at Mississippi State University's Truck Crops Experiment Station looking at the 2011 Mississippi Medallion winner sizzling summer Sun Patiens. Sun Patiens are an improvement in New Guinea type impatiens that can be grown in the full sun. They bloom from the time they are planted in late April or May through the fall. In fact, they were 3 feet tall and covered with blooms at the Fall Flower and Garden Fest last October. Sun Patiens seem to flaunt their brilliant flower colors. There are 15 selections of Sun Patiens in 3 different growth categories: vigorous, compact, and spreading. Vigorous Sun Patiens feature colors of variegated coral, lavender, magenta, orange, red, and white. These plants will fill in quickly even in larger landscape beds. The Compact series has flower colors of blush pink, deep rose, coral, white, lilac, orange, and magenta. They have outstanding tight branching characteristics that guarantee a lot of color. The Spreading series flower colors come in variegated white and variegated salmon. The foliage is a beautiful creamy yellow with bright green edges. It's important to remember sun patients will require consistent moisture. Regular watering will keep these plants happy during the hottest temperatures. Sun patients have the variety to meet most landscape and garden needs during our Mississippi summers. I'm Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Gary says sun patients are a great choice for beautiful summer color, but be sure to keep them watered.
It's time for the answer to today's trivia quiz on Farm Week. It concerns how many acres of winter wheat were planted in Mississippi last fall. Well, the answer is 480,000 acres, according to the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Wheat is one of the unique crops that is planted in the fall and harvested in the late spring.
We're going to pause now for a break on Farm Week. Coming up without the calendar and one more feature story for you. You'll meet a vocational agriculture teacher from Rolling Fork, Mississippi who sees sculpture in farm machinery parts. Lee Washington turns cotton picker spindles into art.
At Mississippi State University, Extension is reaching beyond the college campus and impacting adult education. We're instructing agricultural professionals on the latest trends in research and technology, inspiring communities, empowering small businesses, and promoting the growth of healthy families where youth and adults can reach their fullest potential.
The MSU Extension Service, sharing our vision for the future.
And before we get back to our last story, let's look at the Farm Week calendar. The Delta Research and Extension Center of Mississippi State University is changing up its Stoneville Summer Field Days this year. Soybeans and corn will be the focus of the first field day on Monday, July 9th. The times have shifted to the afternoon. Registration gets underway at 2 p.m. with trailer tours of the field plots beginning at 3:30 p.m. A reception will follow at 5:45 at the Delta Council's office at Stoneville. Pre-register in order to be eligible for door prizes. Now, rice producers have been given their own field day at Stoneville this year. As with the corn and soybean field day, the times have shifted to the afternoon. Registration gets underway at 2 p.m. with trailer tours or field plots starting at 3:30 p.m. A reception will follow at 5:45 at the Delta Council's office. You must pre-register in order to be eligible for door prizes. Go to our Farm Week website at farmweek.msucares.com for information on these and other events. Now check out this week's Farm Week Snapshot.
Our last story today is from 8 years ago. It's about a Rolling Fork, Mississippi school teacher who teaches vocational skills to students. Lee Washington knows how to handle a cutting torch and a welder. In his spare time, he turns his skills towards creating art. The material he sculpts was once used in service of a king, King Cotton that is. Washington turns cotton picker spindles and other bits of metal into imaginative works of sculpture.
This is a spindle which comes from a mechanical cotton picker. This is what it looked like when I pick it up from the tractor places. What it does, it rotates. There's a gear that rotates it, and the spindle spins. And as it spins, the cotton gets caught up in it. And that's how the cotton is extracted from the boll. And this is what it takes to get started and to make one of my little sculptures. I had some extra ones lying around on the table, and I was trying to see what to do with them. And I started shaping and forming and put them in different positions. And I saw a man appeared. I always make my left hand first, my left arm first. I don't know if it has something to do with me being in the Army or what. At that point, I started heating, cutting, and welding. And it looked like a man, but it was just a stick man. And I started, well, I'll do another one, and I did another one. another one, and now I've done quite a few. I teach agricultural power and machinery, which deals with a little bit of welding, tractor operation and maintenance. And I try to convey to my students that you can take farm equipment, old farm equipment that's been discarded, and make something valuable out of it. And I didn't consider it art, it was just something I called myself doing. At this point, I would lay the man on the table, and then I would weld it together, cover. When I'm set up with my exhibits, and it just amazed me how people come up and say, wow, this is very unique. How did you come up with this, you know? And I feel good that people love what I do, you know, just something that I do. You know, I don't consider myself an artist. Everybody say that I am, but it's just something that I love to do, and I do it.
I bought the first one, and I have bought 4 pieces. The crucifixion, a fisherman, and I bought the folding of the flag, and his art is just fabulous.
He's creative with his art, and I like the basketball players, and the one with the man and the woman, like they finna get married, something like that was pretty unique.
I teach them how to do that if they want to learn. If they don't want to learn, I don't try to force it on them because it's not part of the curriculum. I made a piece for each student, but I made them sit there and watch me as I made each piece that they wanted me to make. And I said, the next time you do one, which should be coming up in April or this month, I said, well, you're going to have to do the next one by yourself. Well, this one is okay.
Well, I was welding one day, and then it was like this big one that he was making. Then I said I wanted to try one, so I made one like a man like hunting deer. Yeah, then I made one of those while the man was in the deer stand. So that's when I made. I made 2 of those.
I can do that?
He tell me all the time, nothing gonna leave out this shop half done. Like he'll tell you something, he'll joke about it, but when he gets serious, he's serious about it. Like he wants you to get the job done. Like he's not the type of person that you just up and just half do it. He want everything done to perfection.
You don't want to go
like I said, he's just a fun person. He fun. He real cool.
You want to go along? That's the finishing product once I put the paint on it. The clear lacquer. That's it. I name every piece that I make. At first I didn't name it. I didn't write anything on it, you know, when I first started. And to one lady said, "You're supposed to write on the back of this thing," you know. She wouldn't accept it until I wrote on it. And that's, you know, and when I started thinking about artists, when you look at artwork that has been painted, you know, it's always had someone's name on it. So I got in gear, got it straight. There's 10 sculptures on here. Of course, there's one walking down the center with the money tray, and people are putting money in there. And then there's some sitting, and you can see how they're looking up at the preacher. And I decided I would have the preacher standing up with his arm outstretched, preaching. I took a dollar bill and had cut it up into small pieces, so it looked like that everyone who's there are giving money to the preacher. I just make things because I don't know what someone's going to ask for. I make things that I like, of course, but I just try to find a different variety of things that people want. Before I started sculpture, and I had no idea, I didn't think I had any artistic anything in me, you know. So the only thing I can say is just try it. Just see what you can do, and you'll be surprised, you know. Divine, you know, there's a divine movement somewhere that causes you to do things, and evidently that's what happened to me.
And if you're interested in more information on Lee Washington, you can watch this story again at our website, Facebook page, or on our YouTube page. We'll also have the contact information for Lee there as well. That website again, farmweek.msucares.com. Now, this story aired originally on Farm Week some 8 years ago, and Artis, I understand you recently spoke to Lee Washington, right?
Spoke with him in early June. He's still teaching school. He's opened his own art gallery now in Rolling Fork, and you can visit it by appointment. Give him a call. He's still making the cotton picker spindle art, but now he's into some other metal yard art and bottle trees. He also said he's making cars and trucks out of license plates, and I'm sure they look cute if it's like anything else that he's done. Right. And he also does custom work and commissions. He's a member of the Mississippi Craftsman's Guild. He's even gone to Chicago to represent the Mississippi Craftsman's Guild. So it was good to hear from him, and he'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
Well, we are at the end of Farm Week for this week. On our next show, a Mississippi man who used trees to turn an erosion-ridden farm into a thing of beauty.
Julian Watson of Jackson was one of the first to enroll in the Conservation Reserve Program. The before and after video shows what he has accomplished on his family's Holmes County land. The changes are so dramatic, they helped earn Watson the title of Mississippi Tree Farmer of the Year.
For the rest of the Farm Week crew, I'm Artis Ford.
And I'm Leighton Spann. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.